Howdy everybody, Captain John here with Let's Take a Ride. I'm going to talk about a bike that is probably not on your radar. It certainly was not on my radar and actually dismissed it for a lot of years. But I'm going to talk about it, why it may be the right bike for you or someone you know. And this is a 2017 Versys X300 from they haven't been changed 2017 through 2025. It's a bike that most people would think is not suitable for adventure riding, and for many of you it will not be. But what I'm going to talk about is what this bike is, what it isn't, its pros and its cons, and spoiler alert, I am very surprised about this bike. Now I'm going to classify this. It's kind of weird. I mean, this isn't a bike that's really marketed by Kawasaki. It's really kind of a parts bin bike. You know, it's got the old Ninja 300 parallel twin on it. It does have a 19-inch front, unlike the Versys X350 or the 650 Versys, which only has a 17-inch front. So that bike really isn't an adventure style bike. With a 19-inch front, many adventure bikes come with a 19 versus a 21. So there's some benefits here for both on-road and mild off-road I'm going to talk about. But this may appeal to you as an all-roads bike, and that's really the understanding of what this bike is. And this is our personal bike. This is my wife's bike. I bought it for her. But I've been riding it a good bit and got a good feel for it. Rode it, did a lot of street riding, back roads riding. I've been down the interstate a bunch, both single and two up, which you would not think a little 300cc bike would be suitable for that. And I'm going to talk about that. I have been what you would call your typical adventure riding, which is down you know, your county dirt roads, some mild creek crossings, stuff like that, and it did exactly what it's supposed to do. You know, it's not an aggressive, this is not your KTM, this is not your Tenere 700, it's not a dual sport, but what it is a fantastic all-roads bike, a lightweight, small displacement, economical all-roads adventure bike. And so anyways, I'm going to give you the quick specs. They come in ABS. That's about the only feature they have. This one's non-ABS. I don't think they made it after that, but this is the non-ABS model. And really, do you need ABS on a small bike? Probably not. I mean, it's nice, but it doesn't really matter. There is no traction control, and why would you need one on a 300cc bike? The appealing things about this is it's relatively lightweight. It's 385 pounds, so it is Gen 1 KLR weight factor, but it's so much smoother. So it's 385 pounds wet, 4.5 gallon tank, 70 miles to the gallon, easy. So you're getting a really good range. Lower seat height, 32-inch seat height. And that was the real reason I got it, is something that was approachable to my wife. She's shorter. So if you're a shorter rider, I'm 5'8", 5'9", it's comfortable for me. So if you're 6 feet or under, it's going to be a comfortable bike. If you're a real tall person, I think it'd probably feel a little cramped, but you probably wouldn't be looking at this bike anyways. But 385 pounds wet, 40 horsepower. And I'm going to talk about that power in just a minute. 40 horsepower, 19-inch front, 17-inch rear, 7.1-inch ground clearance, which isn't great, but it's not a dual sport or adventure bike. You can use it as an adventure bike, and certainly use it as a dual sport. I don't recommend it in those categories. I'm going to talk about what it is, being an all-roads bike, and a great one at that. An all-roads touring bike. The suspension travels, longer travel, 5.1 in the front, I believe, and 5.8 in the rear. It's non-adjustable, but for what it is, that's not a deal breaker. I mean, it feels good. I'm a heavy guy, right? So I'm, you know, and I didn't feel it pushing through the stroke at all. I didn't find it stiff or too plush. I just felt it did what it's supposed to do. And obviously, if I was wanting to push it, it would be totally inadequate, but that's not what you're riding this bike for. So who's this bike really for? It is someone who wants to tour economically. You can find these, and by the way, these are cheap bikes, new, and used. You can find them all day long for under $3,000. And the motors are tried and proven on this platform. It's the old Ninja 300 motor. They've been known to go very long, high mileage out there. You can read about the old Ninjas out there and those motors, and it's just a proven lump. As you can see, this bike's kind of dirty. We don't do much cleaning to it or maintenance, and it's still got the dust and dirt from the gravel roads we were down in October, the Red River Scramble. But it's just a simple bike. If you're someone who likes to explore the back roads, likes to tour economically, doesn't ever plan on going more than far service roads, gravel roads, small creek crossings, you know, you're just an explorer who likes to explore economically, this bike's going to appeal to you. And I'm going to tell you what's fun about it too. You've heard this statement, it's more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. And that really comes in here. So the motor is 300cc parallel twin, makes 40 horsepower. Ample, right? 40 horsepower is decent specs for this. It's not incredible, but it's not poor either. And so where it makes its power is really confounds or confuses people, is it makes all its power way up top. This is a rever. It makes its peak horsepower at 11,500 RPMs. I think Redline's 12,000. And it makes good power from about 8,000 to 11.5 where it peaks. Before that, in the low RPMs, there's just not much there. Torque numbers are 19. There's nothing much down low, but that it's adequate if you just want to cruise around. You're not looking for a lot of power. Where it's fun is when you're on the back roads and you're carving the twisties, keeping the RPMs up. You've got plenty of power to come out of turns and to really make it sporty. And with that 19-inch front, this thing turns on a dime. You don't even have to steer it. And basically, you just turn your head where you want to go and the bike's going. I found that to be the most fun, was really on the twisty back roads. Now, the transmission's a 5 or a 6-speed. I can't remember. I haven't been on this bike in about 2 months. But what I want to talk about is a close ratio, which most people may not like. They're like, God, I'm in high gear at 35 miles an hour. But you got to understand, going down the interstate at 80 miles an hour, it's at 9,000 RPM. It's in peak power range there. And I said 80. It's not screaming. I mean, the RPMs are high, but this is what this motor was designed and tuned for, was for the high RPMs. It's not straining the motor. It's not stressing the motor. I am confident you could do an iron butt all day long and it wouldn't even hiccup going down the interstate at 80. I've been up to about 85 on it, but I'm comfortable in the interstate at 75 to 80, and it's stable. It's pushes a nice hole through the wind with the fairing here, keeps it off your knees and the windscreen. It's adequate. And I'm, like I said, 5'8", 5'9". There's bigger options, but at that point, you know, do you really need an aftermarket screen on this? Probably not. At that point, you're probably going to be losing horsepower because you're punching too big of a hole or trying to. But I've been two up on it. You know, my bike was at the dealership for 11 months waiting on some back order parts, my Tenere, and this is all we had to ride. This was her bike, and so she would want to go out and ride, so she'd get behind me, and surprisingly enough, there was more room for her behind me than on the Tenere. Now the Tenere seat was a little bit more comfortable. I'm going to talk about, that's one of the cons, is the seat. But we'd cruised 2 up down the interstate, and I really was wondering, can this bike do it? Did it without struggling. Of course, on steep, going up mountain grades, you're going to have to downshift a gear, keep the RPMs up, and you know, downshift to 5th from 6th. But it is what it is. It's 40 horsepower at peak, and riding 2 up, you know, it's not the most sporty bike, but it'll do it just fine. You'll do it in comfort. You could attach your full luggage, and what I'm getting at with this is, you're really not going to see the need for more power if all you're looking to do is, you're not looking for peak performance, meaning you're not out there blasting. You don't want to go from stoplight to stoplight with full power. You're not wanting to pass cars in an instant, though you can do it just fine on the 2 lanes or the 4 lanes. It's not a performance bike. It is an all-roads touring bike. And I think that's what I really understood when I rode it enough. I was like, you know, for someone who is, and it's not the bike for me, by the way. I like to ride more aggressive, especially off the pavement. I like to get into things I probably shouldn't on a bigger bike. So understand that this isn't a replacement for a big adventure bike, but these are the people that are like, hey, I'm not interested in getting real aggressive in my riding. I'm not interested in getting into the gnarly, but I do like the idea that if I see a dirt road, I want to go down it. And I do like to have comfort on the back roads with the long suspension travel. And I do want to go down the interstates, and I don't want it to cost me an arm and a leg, and I don't want it to weigh a ton. So maybe a first-time adventure bike rider or motorcyclist. Maybe I'm an older, more experienced rider who's done all the aggressive riding and say, hey, I want something just more relaxed. I don't have to think about it. I don't want to think about maintenance or breaking down or any of that. I just want to get out and experience the wind on me in the open road. If I'm a shorter rider, but if you're wanting to feel confident where you can touch the ground with your feet, some of these other adventure bikes, your KTMs, are way up here, and even your Teneres are tall bikes, and so you want something to touch the ground. What's neat is it has a very upright seating position, so that's comfortable, and I think that's desirable. I don't want to have my feet swept back, so you know, if I was looking at this motor and a thing, I wouldn't want a Ninja 300 because that's not comfortable for touring. This would be a comfortable seating position for long distance. To give you an example, my wife and I did a 5-hour ride up to Red River Scramble last month, and what a fantastic trip that was. And my wife was right behind me the whole time on this. Speeds up to 75, I think we're going up there. And she enjoyed it. So here's my cons list on this though. And it's one I don't think is such a big deal. It's the seat. This seat, it looks like it would be a comfortable seat. It is the most awful seat I've ever had on a bike. I can't imagine how they got it so wrong. But for most of you out there who like to ride, you change your seat out anyways, right? I mean, Seat Concepts or whoever, you're going to get a custom aftermarket seat, or you're going to have your pad of choice. We just put a sheepskin on this, and it's fine for her now. And you know, that adds a good bit of cushioning. If I wanted to spend some money, you know, I'd probably send that off to Seat Concepts. We may do that one day for a nice custom seat, or you may have somebody, a saddle shop in your neck of the woods who you prefer to use. But that's the biggest con. It is an awful seat. It doesn't have any frills. Like I said, it doesn't have your electronics. This one doesn't have ABS. One interesting thing, or two interesting things, it has a slipper clutch and a clutch assist. This clutch pull is so light, you can do it with your pinky finger. It is phenomenally easy. They call it the clutch assist or whatever, but it's very nice. And I believe that is a cable clutch on it. Yep, it's just old-fashioned cable clutch. And this bike's an old-fashioned style bike. You know, this is, some of y'all are getting sick of all these tech packages, and I'm probably inclined right there with you, especially on a bike like this. It's, why do you need all that? It's just more stuff to fail. This one has heated grips on it. It's got the Givy crash bars. There's not, obviously there's no cruise control. You may want to put a throttle lock on it, which I use those on my Tenere, or a cramp buster, you know, to make it a little bit easier going down the road for long trips. But this bike has surprised me, and that's why I'm classifying it as an all roads touring bike. And if you just want something for all roads capable, that is super economical, that's going to be, you know, maintenance easy, this may be the bike for you. So anyways, if you've appreciated this video, please like and subscribe. Down here we've migrated our channel from our old YouTube channel to this one, and so we're just going to try to grow this, have a lot of new fresh content. So again, like and subscribe. If you got some comments, I'll try to get back to you. Leave some comments down in the comment section. I'll try to respond in a reasonable time. And if you like hearing some different reviews and just different input, I mean, I'm not getting paid for this. I just wanted to talk about it and talk about this bike in particular, which I am really impressed with and pleased with as a bike. So guy I bought it from is his first bike, as an adventure bike. So it was another man about my height, and he loved it. And he bought it from another man. So I'm the third owner on this 2017, and we've got about 8,000 miles on it now. So anyways, thank y'all for tuning in, and I will see y'all out on the trails hopefully soon.